A fiery debate erupted over Donald Trump's legal threat to the BBC following a controversial episode of Panorama that covered his January 2021 speech. GB News presenter Martin Daubney certainly didn't hold back as he clashed with a guest live on air in a fiery debate over Donald Trump's legal threat to the BBC. The explosive row erupted after the 55-year-old broadcaster accused the US president of interfering with the British broadcaster amid weeks of controversy. Mr. Abrahams insisted that the BBC should tell Donald Trump to go to hell after he confirmed a letter had been sent threatening legal action. The BBC is in a crisis after a Panorama documentary was accused of misleading viewers by editing together two separate parts of a speech made by the US president. The edits made it seem as though Mr. Trump had explicitly encouraged the January 2021 Capitol Hill riot, a leaked memo released by The Telegraph has revealed. The BBC's Director General, Tim Davie, and Chief Executive of BBC News, Deborah Turnus, both resigned over the weekend following the overwhelming backlash for the corporation's coverage. Discussing the divisive topic, GB News host Martin began, the BBC, think they're immune. They think they can criticize anybody. They want impunity. They've been caught with their pants down, and in the president's eyes, they're the same as any other fake news organization. Mr. Abrahams responded, No, Martin, the difference is that the BBC is funded by a license fee. Almost every other broadcaster is funded either by advertising revenue or by a billionaire's money, and that basically leads those broadcasters to pursue particular agendas. The BBC has to have transparency and accountability. Listen, I'm not coming on here to defend the BBC, because I've been absolutely shocked and appalled by the actions of its news output over the years, particularly in relation to what's been happening in Gaza and Israel. I think their coverage of the genocide in Gaza has been an absolute disgrace. But what I will object to is a foreign president like Donald Trump trying to interfere with our state broadcaster. That cannot be allowed to happen, and the BBC should tell Donald Trump to go to hell. Martin snapped back with, well, if they do that, it'll cost them even more money. That would be an even more idiotic thing to do than what they've already done. They're up to their necks in this, Martin. The thing to do now is not to fight anymore, they'll get dragged down into the quagmire. Here's the point, if they are a state broadcaster, if they're bankrolled by you, me, and everyone else under pain of prison for refusing to pay the license fee, then they should act with more responsibility. They must respect the fact that they're not immune to prosecution, the same as any media organization on the planet. The problem isn't Donald Trump. The problem is the BBC attacking Donald Trump. So far, the BBC has refused to comment in detail on the allegations raised in the leaked memo, or on the full contents of the president's legal letter. UK political leaders from all sides have expressed hope that the high-profile resignations will mark a turning point for the corporation.